How comfortable are you with your walk with Christ? Do you want to spend eternity with Him? Well, if you're joining us in reading through the 60-day reading plan, today's reading is 1 Peter 1, 16 through 25, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, I'd like you to place yourself in a particular situation. Think about the person with whom you are least comfortable. In your mind, describe the feeling that you have. What makes you uncomfortable? What are the circumstances that brought you that discomfort? What could you do to remove yourself from that discomfort? Now I'd like to have you place yourself in another situation. I'd like you to think about the person with whom you're most comfortable. In your mind, describe the feeling that you have. Why are you comfortable? What things have happened to cause you to realize that you're comfortable? And what do you want to do to maintain that feeling of comfort? Now I'd like to think about your relationship with God. What happens when you sin? Well, frankly, you become uncomfortable to be in His presence. What happens when you're following His commandments? You have great joy in your life. What would it be like for you to spend eternity with the person that makes you uncomfortable? I might assume that you would say that it would be like being in hell. What would it be like for you to be with the person who makes you most comfortable? Again, I would probably assume that you would say something along the lines of that it would be like being in heaven. This picture is some of what the early church fathers painted to describe heaven and hell. They painted the image of a person who hated being around God, who didn't want anything to do with God, and then having to spend an eternity with God as being in hell. And they pictured it as being in hell because they said God's love would be like a burning fire to that person who had rejected Him. Now, I'm not suggesting that hell is not a physical place of fire. What I am suggesting is that a person who is not interested in being with God would not be interested in being with God when He's standing before Him. Their sinfulness would be overwhelming, and His righteousness and love would be equally overwhelming, and they could not stand that.